residents that need help getting up and down the stairs. We did call the only authorized spokesperson for Circle Incorporated this weekend, and he was not available for an interview. Laura, Jared.
Certainly more to come on that.
We'll keep following it. 2 minutes after 7 o'clock now. Let's bring in meteorologist Brooke Richardson as we enter another week. Do we have any change in the heat?
Yeah, a little bit of some change. We saw it yesterday as well. We were looking at a little less humidity. Now it's still going to be hot, but we're avoiding that heat advisory. So some good news there. Temperatures will still be in the 90s. We are watching for rain chances as we head into the rest of your day today. With that lower humidity over the weekend, we weren't looking at too much of the rain. We're going to be seeing that change today. You can see 70s and 80s right now. We will be looking at those little showers starting to pop in as we head through your morning, but the best chance of rain comes later today, and that is where we do have your severe threat. Level 1 out of 5 for severe storms. We are watching for that threat of those damaging winds as we head into your afternoon. Not only our marginal risk, we're also seeing a slight risk for Mobile, so we do have that threat of severe storms. Storms are going to continue as you head into the late afternoon going into your evening. Best chance of rain is going to be there. As we see the sunset, we're going to lose energy for those storms, and we will be looking at a calmer period overnight. Still looking at this pattern heading into the middle to end of the week, but we do see that rain chance start to drop a little bit more for the weekend, so we'll talk about your rain chances through the week coming up.
How about a quick look outdoors and check on traffic? This shot I-10 at Davis Highway this morning. There are no problems there and no reported slowdowns.
A Bay Minette man is wanted for attempted murder after a shooting in the Pine Grove community.
Baldwin County deputies found a man with multiple gunshot wounds late Saturday night on Pine Grove Road Extension. The victim flown to a trauma center. They identified 21-year-old Jayton Williams as their suspect.
Now authorities say he is armed and dangerous. Anyone with information is asked to call the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office.
And the teenager wanted for the Century Park murder surrendered to Escambia County deputies.
Deputies say 16-year-old Kayunta Ewing was wanted for first-degree murder. He turned himself in Friday night. Now the shooting happened at Showalter Park last Thursday.
Sheriff's Office says several people had gathered for a fight. Sheriff Chip Simmons says Ewing is accused of pulling out a gun and firing several rounds. One man was killed, another man injured.
The Pensacola Police Department is set to welcome 2 new canines.
Well, Canine Jones has retired, and one of the new canines is in the middle of dual-purpose training.
And that gives us a chance to look at what these dogs do every day. Right now, the department has 4 other dual-purpose canines that are in service. That would be Bear, Bo, Onic, and Redden. They are trained in narcotics apprehension and tracking.
Now, Canine Jax, the department's 5th dog, does all of that except apprehension. Officer Mike Wood says the department is considering training the 2nd dog with weapons sniffing since her last one is in retirement.
I haven't been told exactly what those canines are going to be doing, but that is a need that we do have, that we can use. Not having the dog on site at the schools can be problematic, can cost a little bit of time, but again, we have law enforcement neighbors that will be able to get their canine there very quickly for us to be able to sniff that area for weapons and get the situation taken care of.
So for right now, the PPD calls the Escambia County Sheriff's Office or the Gulf Breeze Police if they need assistance with weapon sniffing. And by the way, as soon as we get photos or video of those 2 new canines, we will certainly bring them to you.
The key word here, another. The Florida Department of Health has issued another water quality advisory for Cinco Bayou.
Yes, samples that were taken from the bayou found high levels of Enterococcus bacteria. Now, the Department of Health is advising right now against any water-related activities in the area.
Let's see here, that bacteria, if you're exposed to it, could cause you some gastrointestinal problems and other diseases. Now, 2 weeks ago, the bayou was closed for those high bacterial levels. Residents said they saw an odd sheen on the water and the odor was foul, quote unquote. Again, the 2nd advisory in the same area.
Several days of heavy rain are sending red clay runoff into a neighborhood in Santa Rosa County.
Avalon Beach covered in standing water and red clay sediment after storms blew through last week. County says the runoff is from new home development in the area and is draining into Mulat Bayou.
Some older subdivisions around there are about 100 years old, county leaders say, developed before modern stormwater standards were put in place. Now, they say they can levy fines on the developers if the runoff continues, but first they need to figure out which developers are responsible.
A lot of people commenting on this story on our social media platforms. Jessica says, truly so sad.
Dawn writes, gee, maybe not build there. Stop voting for people who are ruining the environment we live in.
And from Rusty, what about my property rights? I have a right not to get flooded every time because builders only offer monolithic slab houses and haul in red clay to build the entire property several feet higher than everyone else. I built a lot of houses in Mulet back in the early 90s, and every single one was on pilings.
Get your pictures in now. We would love to share them on the show. Use the Chime In tab. You can find that using the menus on the website or the mobile, and look for the morning news folder.
A lot of people watching this one, and Lindsay Clancy's trial is coming close to an end. What's left to do before it goes to the jury?
New technology helping to identify victims of 9/11. How it could bring more closure to some families.
You know what time it is. Well, it's always that time,
always
don't
time.
you think? I mean,
Let's make it official.
all right.
And take a coffee break.
Every night, WEAR covers more of Northwest Florida, from Escambia to Santa Rosa to Okaloosa, and everywhere in between. Your community, your stories.
Reporting live in Pensacola, live in Ferry Pass,
reporting in Midway,
reporting at Fort Walton Beach,
and more local coverage across the Panhandle, right down to your hometown.
I talked to Jay Collins. My next call was Sue Strawn.
From the team you've trusted for decades, every night.
We thank you for joining us.
WEAR, Northwest Florida's news leader.
At Jeans Floor Covering, we know your floors go through a lot. Kids, muddy shoes, and let's not forget that pet.
We've seen it all.
Good news, we've got flooring that can handle it.
For generations, our family has helped your family find stylish, durable, professionally installed flooring that is built to last.
So whether it's paws, spills, or everyday chaos, we've got you covered. Featuring top brands like Shaw Floors. Stop by our showroom or shop online today. Jeans Floor Covering in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I've been a part of this community for decades. The name may have changed and I may be with a new firm, but my commitment to this community has never wavered. I'm still here to fight for you at Rafferty, Dominic, Cunningham, Yaffa.
Find your health at East Hill Medical Group. Optimize your hormones with the Bio-T method and age healthier, live happier. At East Hill Medical Group, our individualized treatment plans for bio-identical hormone balance through pelleting are designed to increase energy, restore libido, improve sleep, boost weight loss, enhance mental clarity, balance mood. With over 4 million pellets administered across the nation, see for yourself why so many are trusting the Bio-T method. Schedule your consultation today with East Hill Medical Group.
Very pleased with Jamal Smith's knowledge on explaining every question I had when purchasing a new unit for my home. He made this transaction very easy for me to understand. Jamal was also able to install in one day. That actually makes me feel really good. It lets me know that my point got across, and we were able to do what Peyton does, which is get the system replaced the next day, make sure that there's no carryover, and to get her peace of mind for the next decade or beyond.
Peyton, the pros you can trust. WEAR, Northwest Florida's morning news leader. WEAR News is closed captioned for your convenience.
Maybe today, perhaps tomorrow, the closing arguments in the case of Lindsay Clancy.
The defense rested their case on Friday. Now prosecutors have to finish their rebuttal testimony. After that, closing arguments, and once that is finished, the case goes to the jury.
As you may know, Clancy is charged with murder in the deaths of her 3 children, 5, 3, and 11 months old, before injuring herself and jumping from a second-story window. She has pleaded not guilty.
Her attorneys do not dispute that she killed the children. They say she's not criminally responsible because she was suffering from postpartum psychosis. Prosecutors say she planned the whole thing.
Carmelo Anthony has been denied his bid for a new trial.
Yeah, that ruling came down Saturday. Anthony was sentenced in June to 35 years in prison for the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. Anthony was 17 when he stabbed Metcalf in the chest at a track meet in Frisco, Texas in 2025.
Anthony argued it was self-defense. He now has a new legal team. They argued he was coerced into pleading guilty and advised not to take the stand. Also said the judge gave jurors incomplete instructions and should not have closed the trial to the public.
Now, that judge was removed at Anthony's request. His legal team says they will continue ahead with an appeal.
Well, we're hearing a bit more from Leslie Vogel, the estranged mother of the late actress Hayden Panettiere.
Yes, she died August 16th in South Carolina. She was found unresponsive and in cardiac arrest. Now, over the years, she had talked about her relationship with her mother, calling it tough.
She said she didn't expect to ever have a healthy mother-daughter relationship, though she tried to do that over a number of years.
At the time, the mom, Vogel, said she'd been advised to go no contact with her daughter. But shortly after Hayden's death, Vogel did share a statement naming Brian Hickerson, Hayden's boyfriend, as someone the family had been trying to, quote, get rid of.
She was on GMA this morning, and the interview airing this morning on GMA.
I want Hayden to be remembered for the talented, beautiful, outgoing, intelligent woman she really was.
Not entirely clear Panettiere was using any sort of drugs or alcohol at the time of her death. Her manner of death still pending.
And the DEA has been called in or come into the investigation. Hickerson, by the way, has not been accused of any wrongdoing.
Hard to believe, but it's been close to 25 years since 9/11, and now a victim of the attack has just been identified.
New York City's medical examiner and the NYPD used what they call genetic genealogy. It pairs DNA testing with family trees.
Experts say 25 years ago, the technology just wasn't there. The newly identified victim is an adult woman. Her family has chosen to keep it all private.
She's one of nearly 1,100 victims who have never been formally identified. The medical examiner's office has vowed never to give up, trying to identify as many people as possible.
They say 47 more victim profiles are good candidates for being identified using this technology.
What a morning in Nevada. Crews racing to contain a massive wildfire that just started over the weekend.
It's the Hawk Fire in northwest Reno. Started Saturday and by yesterday evening grew to roughly 15,000 acres. They say the fire was human caused, but no indication if it was intentional.
As of last night, 90,000 people had been urged to evacuate. 42,000 were under mandatory evacuation orders.
And there's more in Hawaii, already starting to recover from Hurricane Lala, getting ready for more tropical weather.
Tropical storm Moki swinging by the islands, close enough to dump a lot of heavy rain. Some places are expecting more than a foot of that rain, and of course it comes after Lala flooded communities and triggered mudslides as well as damaging a number of roads.
2 deaths in Hawaii are linked to Lala. The Big Island expected to take most of Moki, same area hit hard by that first storm. Oh, it's a heartwarming story here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, an Alabama high school football team is celebrating their first win in more than a decade. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Columbia High School in Huntsville ended a 101 game losing streak Saturday night with a 41-14 victory over Greensboro High School. Good job.
It was their first win since October of 2015.
Well, you got to give it to all those kids and coaches for just showing up back on the field every time. Their head coach is Sammy Coates. This was his second season, so maybe they're turning things around. They're just going to stay focused, they say, on winning more games.
There you go.
Congrats. All right.
Ooh, look at this.
It's been a beautiful sunrise this morning, Brooke.
It really is gorgeous this morning. We had a little bit of some rain in the area, but it is looking more isolated. We'll watch for some rain heading later on, though. So we do have our shower thunderstorm threat as we head into your second half of the day. And we are watching for that severe threat level 1 out of 5 for most of us, with a slight risk for Mobile. So right now, gorgeous weather, but things are going to change. So prepare for a little bit more of an active pattern as we go through at least the beginning of the week. We'll start to see your rain chances come down in time for the weekend, but we do have that marginal risk as well as that slight risk that does include Mobile. Biggest concern is going to be those gusty to damaging winds in these storms. So you can see right now your radar looking fairly calm. We have a little bit of some rain left over moving through South Escambia County. It's really not looking too heavy there. We had some rain in Crestview. The good news is that is starting to move out. As for what we can expect through the rest of your day, your morning commute should be calm. As we head into your afternoon, late afternoon, 2 to 3 p.m., that's when we're going to be looking at more activity. So we will have those showers and thunderstorms around. We will be looking at that severe threat with these storms. You can see a lot of activity through 5 to about 7 o'clock. After about 7 p.m., those conditions will start to improve. We're going to be expecting things to be much calmer through the overnight and into your morning on Tuesday. Still not done with that rain chance as we head into the afternoons and evenings. We're going to keep this pattern through the week. We will have your best chance of rain coming on Thursday, but we'll still have some of those heavier pockets Tuesday, Wednesday as well. By the time you hit the weekend, things are going to improve quite a bit. From now through Friday, we're going to deal with anywhere between a 50 to about 70% chance of rain. Best chance of rain this week is on Thursday. That's where we'll have a little bit more of that activity, but things are going to calm down in time for that Saturday and Sunday with just a 30 to 40% chance of rain. Temperatures right now, 70s and 80s. It is looking nice and warm this morning. We will get into the 90s today, but some good news, we're avoiding that heat advisory. We will still have temperatures quite hot. 90s to about 100 is what we'll feel, up to about 106. That is still just below heat advisory levels, so we're looking at a nice little break with the heat advisory. Quick look at the tropics. Couple of areas we are watching for tropical development. First one going to be moving to the north. No big concern for the Gulf Coast. 50% chance of formation there. 50% chance of formation with this tropical wave moving off the coast of Africa. We'll watch it as it moves across the Atlantic. Still a ways to go. If we do have anything new with that, next name on the list is Dolly. Let's take a look at your week ahead. You can see your rain chances staying high through the work week. By the weekend, rain chances will start to drop.
A quick look outside at 719 I-10 near Pine Forest Road. Light traffic, medium traffic, and no problems.
And ahead, Lane Kiffin shook up the college sports world last season when he left Ole Miss for LSU. Now we know the FBI got involved in the weeks after. Why? Stay with us on the Morning Current.
The soccer spotlight now shifts to 2027. 32 nations, one prize. And behind every match, there's more to the story.
Talking about where the game is going.
New ways to see the game.
It's going to get crazy.
Introducing a podcast that has it all. Hosted by stars that have seen it all. Julie Ertz and Kaylia Watt. Style of Play. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Said the dog's in town.
Your home for dog is on the nest.
Rock and roll.
Whether in paradise
Open the door.
or in a junk pile.
Let's look in the trash.
Dog will hunt you down.
We just got to keep hunting.
Nope, not in there.
I feel like I'm at an Easter egg hunt.
Where is this guy? There he is.
Get the knife.
That was dramatic.
Dog the Bounty Hunter. Weekdays on the Nest.
Check your local listings for channel information.
Frankly, it bugged us that only large investors were getting the consistent bond fund performance that everyone deserves. So, Vanguard made institutional quality bond funds available to everyone, with experts scrutinizing thousands of bonds and implementing repeatable strategies to maximize returns. In fact, 90% of Vanguard's active bond funds outperformed their peers.
Let's get that to 95.
Vanguard, discipline that delivers.
Another day, same pain, same meds, same struggling for symptom relief. Injections like Humira and Enbrel work similarly to treat moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis or psoriatic arthritis. But if your symptoms haven't improved enough, Rinvoq works differently. It's a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve RA and PSA joint pain, stiffness, and swelling, as fast as 2 weeks for some. Even after 3 years, many people felt this relief. In PSA, Rinvoq can leave skin noticeably clearer.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events, infections, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Do something different. Ask your doctor if switching to Rinvoq is right for you.
Lane Kiffin's exit from Ole Miss last year was apparently so shocking that the school got the FBI involved.
The FBI. Yeah. Well, let's explain all this, shall we?
Well, let's start with $91 million, too. There's that. So anyway, you probably recall Kiffin left Ole Miss for LSU last November. The contract was $91 million, and it happened just as Ole Miss was gunning for the playoffs.
Yeah, new details of his exits come from Walker Jones, executive director of Ole Miss's NIL program. He spoke on the Assorted Crackers podcast about Kiffin's exit.
Here we go. Jones said they spent weeks and months, quote, fending off LSU from poaching their coaching and assistant staff. Says half of the staff was going with Kiffin, but the season wasn't over. So
they had coaches working with two teams, and they had to ask some to actually leave the room at times when they were talking about sensitive information. There were no hallway discussions, nothing was written down, and as Brooke mentioned, at one point they had the FBI do a sweep for listening devices in the sports department.
I mean, Lane Kiffin does return to Oxford September 19th when the LSU Tigers face off Ole Miss. I'm sure he'll get a warm welcome there.
It should be a very spirited game.
Yeah, you think. This is a very interesting story. The question we pose, you're at a Walmart store, it could be Costco, it could be anywhere. You see some cash on the floor, $30. You pick it up, put it in your pocket. And then what happened?
Well, in this case, a Georgia man, Albany, Georgia is where this happened. He was slapped on a wanted poster for putting the money in his pocket. The police posted a photo of this guy looking to identify him, and it went from there.
Yeah, they said another shopper had dropped the cash and reported it to police, and in the Facebook post, police said the man picked it up, the money, and did not turn it into employees.
Now, I would say if you found a wallet or something like that, you pick it up, you bring it to, employees. But, cash, how do you know,
Yeah.
Anyway,
just found it.
Ultimately, the man returned the money. I guess he saw himself on social media as, as a wanted man.
Oh my gosh, so humiliation, the newest tool to get people to do what we want. The comments on the social media post really showed that people thought this was all blown out of proportion, with one person saying, so when I find pennies and quarters on the ground, who do I turn those into?
Another person said it's not like he took the money out of a wallet, it was loose cash on the ground.
Yeah, another person said, quote, if my 14-year-old daughter found $10 on the floor at the movies last month, she was so happy, but I guess now I'll have to explain to the police that the police are coming and she'll be spending Christmas in prison.
Oh my God.
Don't do that to her. That would be so mean.
I guess it all ended well. I guess the lady or man who dropped the money claimed it, so all is well, sort of.
Chime In is sponsored by Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
Good morning, and thank you. Greg Gotzel is entitled Looking East.
Boy, that's spectacular. Thank you.
And this is Peggy Edwards. Beautiful swallowtail butterfly visits our front yard.
Zinnias.
What a great shot. Yes, thank you.
On the way, a lot of people are talking about this. They changed the skyline on beautiful Pensacola Beach. The new condos. Who might be staying at such a wonderful place? We'll talk about it. And who will not be staying at such a wonderful place?
Serving the Panhandle for over 50 years.
It has never been easier to own a new Rheem air conditioning system from Boutwells. Boutwells has financing options from 5 years no interest to 10 years with approved credit, even if your credit is damaged. Boutwells Air Masters, give us a call today.
Your day started out like any other. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, another car swerves into your path and your life changes forever.
Unfortunately, we can't change that, but we can help you.
If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault,
we can help. Make your first call your best call. Wib Stone, Barnett Turner.
Hoping accident victims and their families get the financial compensation they deserve for their injuries. Your first call for life's legal challenges.
Are you a Florida resident looking for a medical marijuana recommendation? Call East Hill Medical Group at 850-437-0035 or on the web at easthillmedicalgroup.com.
Live and Let Live, a metaphysical store for mind, body, and soul. Oils, herbs, candles, crystals. From spiritual gifts to ritual supplies to religious books, we have the widest selection of metaphysical merchandise in Northwest Florida.
We welcome, supply, and honor all paths and beliefs, offering psychic readings, spiritual services, energy healing, and much more.
So come see me today at Live and Let Live, the home of free advice.
Get ready to take off with Step 1 Automotive Group's Low Passes, Low Prices sales event. Fly over for huge savings on thousands of vehicles. Taxi in, trade up. Receive up to $2,500 over KBB for your trade. Plus, teachers and students can take $1,000 off with exclusive back-to-school offers. Don't miss the Low Passes, Low Prices sales event at Step 1 Automotive Group. Land your deal.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mall.
I'm Angela McMahon, Office Manager for Dr. Mall. I would like to welcome you to our office. Dr. Mall provides a wide variety of procedures including clinical oral surgery, wisdom teeth, root canals, dental implants, crowns and bridges, gum surgery, partials, dentures, and cosmetic dentistry. We would love to help you with your dental needs. And just remember, Dr. Mall does it all. Dr. Mall.
Lots of chatter about this. Developers proposing an 18-story condo tower in the Casino Beach area of Pensacola Beach.
No doubt it would reshape the skyline in the beach. The tower would have 16 condo units, basically just one on each floor. There would also be a 2-story parking garage.
The address, number 2 Via de Luna Drive, between Crab's Restaurant and the Hampton Inn. The condos would be owner-occupied. No third-party rentals would be allowed.
At this stage, we've really been focused on quality and lifestyle. So you'll see from the renderings that people have been looking at that there are wraparound veranda balconies that wrap 360 degrees around the building. It's intended to be a very exclusive project, which is why we've been focused on non-rental units.
The conceptual model will be voted on at the next Island Authority meeting, and that is Wednesday.
Nearly 1,000 comments from you on socials about this one. Let's start with Jeannie. A parking garage would be better and is much needed. This building looks hideous and not needed.
From Corey, he writes in part, not saying those condos shouldn't be on the beach, but not on that particular plot being the central focus of the beach itself. Farther down the beach in either direction would be much better.
Jessica says in part, hard no, way too big, too much encroachment on the beach, too much additional traffic in an area already suffering with space.
Well, the Federal Railroad Administration is awarding the Florida Department of Transportation $356 million to improve rail crossings across the state.
The project is going to bring a total of $456 million to design fix more than 900 rail crossings. FDOT says these upgrades will include things like better pedestrian warning systems, new pavement markings, overhead signals, improved lighting, and LED signs warning people not to stop on the tracks.
Solid advice there. Crews will also add another train coming signs and some physical barriers at some of those crossings.
7:30 on your Monday morning. Hope it is going great so far. And if you are wondering, will I melt again when I step outside of my car? Meteorologist Brooke Richardson has your answers. Hello.
Hey, good morning. And it's really not as bad as we've had the past couple of days. We've actually seen a little bit of less humidity. It's still going to be humid, but not at those levels we were seeing last week. We avoided that heat advisory yesterday. We're avoiding a heat advisory today. It's still going to be hot. It's still summertime, but it's back to normal levels. Right now, we are taking that look over Pensacola Beach. Things are looking nice and calm. We do have the 70s and the 80s right now. We're going to be seeing anywhere between 75 and about 77 inland. Along the coastline, we are seeing those 80s. Now, your radar is looking for the most part dry, a little bit of some rain. We are tracking along the coast closer to Perdido, but it is very, very isolated there. We do have our severe threat later today. So this is going to be the biggest thing that we're watching through today. Low in risk of severe weather, but it's level 1 out of 5, level 2 out of 5 for Mobile. We're watching primarily for the risk of those gusty to damaging winds that could move through as we head into that afternoon and early evening. So you can see we do have that rain chance, the highest through the later half of the day, comes to an end as we get after sunset. We'll see rain chances pop up again heading into your middle of the day Tuesday.
Keeping an eye on your Monday morning drive, I-10 west of Pensacola Boulevard, picking up this time of day. But as you can see, everything's moving smoothly right now at 7:31.
Speaking of, despite many efforts in the past to ease congestion on 98 near Hurlburt Field, base leaders again say it's a national security concern.
Last week, leaders from the base met with local government leaders to talk about possible solutions. Several options were presented, including widening Highway 98 or creating a secondary route using land currently owned by Eglin Air Force Base.
State Senator Don Gates says either option would be very expensive.
So, some land from Eglin in order to create a secondary route, and also a great deal of money. So I believe the issue not only can be resolved, but has to be resolved, but it will take substantial cooperation from the military, and it will take an extremely large amount of money.
Congressman Jimmy Petronas says Highway 98 is currently at 133% capacity. He did file legislation called the Warrior Road Act that would prioritize infrastructure projects he says are critical to national security.
More than 60 people shared their thoughts on this one. We'll start with Kim. Close the gate on Highway 98, make it a 6-lane without military traffic and only civilian traffic with 6 lanes. It would move quickly.
And from Ray, he says you can make it 12 lanes, not going to help.
Brian says this is not a new problem. It's been around for years, and they just keep kicking the can down the road.
What does this mean? A private meeting between House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law and big advisor.
Jeffries could be the next Speaker of the House if Dems retake the chamber. Midterms, by the way, just 10 weeks away now. The meeting we know happened in recent weeks. Reports say the pair met looking for possible areas of common ground between the White House and congressional Democrats.
Jeffries and Kushner had worked together during the administration, the first one of Donald Trump, on criminal justice as well as prison reform legislation.
Staying in D.C., the North American trade war has apparently been reignited.
We and Canada failed to reach a trade deal last week, and now the U.S. is imposing a 50% tariff on about $20 billion worth of Canadian products.
As you might expect, Ottawa is saying they'll respond in kind. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney reiterating that country will match U.S. tariffs dollar for dollar. We're talking sectors like steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural equipment, and electronics, all of it set to take effect September 8th.
U.S. military says 2 people were killed after they struck an alleged drug trafficking boat.
Today's attack in the Eastern Pacific follows what observers believe was a pause of that type of action. None have happened since June 21st.
The administration claiming people on suspected drug boats are unlawful combatants. Claims the U.S. is in an armed conflict with them and can kill them without any judicial review.
Critics say suspected narco traffickers on vessels should face prosecution. Senator Tim Kaine says classified information suggests the strikes have illegally killed people not involved in the drug trade. He's a member of the Armed Services Committee.
More states and more E. coli and more salmonella. We'll find out where it seems to be coming from.
Pizza Hut has a new name for. Now, what? Why they're dropping the word pizza?
What?
If you're confused, stay with us. We'll try to get it all straightened out.
Circular pie with pepperoni and cheese and sauce. It's a bigger name.
In the Hut. You can find it in the Hut. All right. I still call coffee?
Coffee. Joe.
Cheers.
Java.
There are sales jobs, and then there are sales careers. At AMP, you bring the hustle, we bring the platform. Sell sports, news, streaming, digital. Trusted local brands. Backed by one of the nation's largest media networks. Help businesses grow with national reach and hometown trust. Performance-based income, real mentorship from day one. When you win, we win. Apply now at sbgi.net/join AMP.
You know, the big Labor Day weekend is coming up real quick now, and the only question is, do I want to have some fun going to the beach, or do I want to save some money on new furniture? Well, at Barrows, you can do both. We've got a ton of special Labor Day discounts going on right now and through Labor Day. You always get our lowest price, and if we have it, you can take your furniture right home with you. And if we don't have it, we'll custom special order it for you. If reliable name brand furniture is important and you like saving money, come see us at Barrows, Mobile, Pensacola, Farmington, Dothan, and Andalusia.
We know that finding your dream home is not just a transaction, it's a journey. And we are here to be your partner and guide every step of the way. Hurd Real Estate and Company, bringing a personal touch to a professional service.
So what day is the meeting? Fun day.
With daily draw games starting at $1, every day shall henceforth be known as Fun Day.
Every day's Fun Day with Cash Pop that only takes one number to win. The Florida Lottery. It's good fun.
At Jean's Floor Covering, we know your floors go through a lot. Kids, muddy shoes, and let's not forget that pet.
We've seen it all.
Good news, we've got flooring that can handle it.
For generations, our family has helped your family find stylish, durable, professionally installed flooring that is built to last.
So whether it's paws, spills, or everyday chaos, we've got you covered. Featuring top brands like Shaw Floors. Stop by our showroom or shop online today. Jean's Floor Covering in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
If you have a broken or cracked windshield, call Lloyd's Glass first. Wherever you need us, at your home, at your work, we'll come to you to replace your car's windshield. Just one call to speak with a live person, and Lloyd's will take care of the rest, including working directly with your insurance company. Locally owned and operated, locally committed to providing the best service possible. We do it right the first time in one stop. Call Lloyd's Auto Glass first.
Okay, we will not see the full cast of the upcoming season of Dancing with the Stars until next month, but we have a few names.
I call it Dancing with People I Don't Know.
Stop.
Dancing with Stars, it's a broad term.
Yeah.
Anyway, AJ is going to join us because she is a big fan, no doubt, and knows all these people and what's happening with Dancing with the B-listers.
Stop.
Yes, Jared, you know, there are more names here that I don't think you're going to know, but there's one that you will because I have talked about her a lot. We're going to get back to the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives in just a minute.
Okay.
First, we're going to go over who we know for sure. So first name, Jared, that you're not going to recognize is Sierra Miller. She's a reality TV star from a show called Summer House. Also, over the summer, anyone that was into Love Island USA, she was a co-host on a companion program they have, so she is going to be on the show. We also have Maura Higgins, who is also a reality TV show star from Love Island UK, who has, I will say, made the crossover into US reality television since then. So she's a big name this year. Also, Jack Olson. Is anyone here a Savannah Bananas fan? Have you seen the Savannah Bananas videos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a few nephews who are like massive Savannah Bananas fans, and I think the Coconuts is another like Savannah Bananas spinoff. I think they did that on purpose. Jack Olson's one of their most popular players on the team. If you haven't seen the Savannah Bananas, they play baseball, but then like they'll break out like dancing, or they'll all of a sudden have a flash mob, or they'll sing a song, or the umpires dance. It's very, very fun and involved. So we have him. Now, you might know this one, Jared. I think you obviously do. Guillermo Rodriguez from Kimmel. He's Jimmy Kimmel's sidekick. He is going to be paired with Whitney Carson, who is a pro that just announced actually that she is pregnant. Now, there's some other names being thrown around. Number one is Tyler Cameron from Bachelor Nation. He used to be on The Bachelorette. The other is Connor Levitt. Now, here's where we come back to the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. His wife is Whitney Levitt, who was on that show, and she was on Dancing last year. He performed with her. They did really well. They've both been on Broadway since Dancing with the Stars, so I think he's coming back. That's what we know so far. We'll find out for sure on September 2nd.
It's so interesting how many reality personalities are in here. It seems a bit atypical.
Well, they ran out of all the other ones.
I don't know.
It seems like they're trying to appeal to a younger audience because it's just like, I mean, this is what all of the younger people are watching. I mean, these are all very popular shows.
So like Love Island is mostly people making out on the beach?
It's a very popular show, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, is that what it is?
Well, now they can be making out and dancing, right?
I'm just saying they're appealing to a younger audience.
Fair enough. All right. We have more, I do believe. Pizza Hut says for the next 25 weeks, Drop the pizza. It's just Hut.
What is going on with pizza? How are you supposed to know? You just go to the Hut? I want a round pie? You don't call it pizza? What's going on here?
It's just Hut. It's not even the Hut. It's just Hut. And the idea is that the NFL regular season kicks off, and for the next 25 weeks, that's what it is. It's Pizza Hut. They have a store in Plano that they actually covered up the pizza part of their sign with a football. So if you need some Pizza Hut in the next 25 weeks, you're just calling the Hut. It's a promotional thing. It's just for social media marketing, fun for the NFL regular season. And by the way, for those of us that watch college football, we have 1 week.
Yay!
I think for a while, colloquially, people referred to let's go to the Hut. I think
that's all good.
And then they go back to their old style design too, the checkerboard and all that.
Yeah, and the buffet and everything too, the restaurant style.
Well, you know what I think?
Yeah.
We're going to the Hut.
All right, check out these stories and more on WEAR's YouTube channel. All right, you may have to just watch us for the Hut, but for lots of other news, just search WEAR News on YouTube. You'll find it all there. And stay with us on the Morning Current. There are some new rules for mail-in ballots. What states have to do now for your vote to be counted?
This newscast brings you into the conversation.
Nearly 200 comments, and just as we shared this update last night, and it's mixed reaction.
The Morning Current goes beyond the headlines to get your opinions on stories that affect you.
Story continuing to gain a lot of attention on social media. At last report, 300 comments have come in since we posted it yesterday.
The news everyone's talking about, plus weather to plan your day.
Just a wet day. Make sure you have the umbrellas. Take it nice and easy.
The Morning Current, weekdays on WFGX.
Home is where the fun is, and the fun begins at 55 in Latitude Margaritaville Water Sound. Now is the time to explore beautiful, new, ready-to-move-in homes on Florida's Emerald Coast and resort-style amenities that are anything but ordinary. Buy now to save big with special offers. Find your new home at latitudemargaritaville.com.
Find your health at East Hill Medical Group. Optimize your hormones with the BioT method and age healthier, live happier. At East Hill Medical Group, our individualized treatment plans for bioidentical hormone balance through pelleting are designed to increase energy, restore libido, improve sleep, boost weight loss, enhance mental clarity, balance mood. With over 4 million pellets administered across the nation, see for yourself why so many are trusting the BioT method. Schedule your consultation today with East Hill Medical Group.
When it rains, it pours. Excessive rainfall drains into older leaky sewage pipes not intended to carry rainfall, thus causing sewer system overflows. Aging underground infrastructure is an environmental issue affecting communities nationwide. Up-to-date utility systems are important to public health and water quality. The Emerald Coast Utilities Authority is committing significant resources to develop state-of-the-art water and wastewater system infrastructure. The ECUA, investing in a cleaner environment.
Pain, cramping, numbness, or fatigue in your legs when walking? It could be peripheral arterial disease, also called PAD. At Coastal Vascular and Interventional, we specialize in diagnosing and treating PAD with advanced, minimally invasive procedures right here in Northwest Florida. Don't ignore the signs. PAD can lead to serious complications if left untreated. Call to schedule an appointment today. Coastal Vascular and Interventional, because your legs and your health deserve the very best care.
Here we go. Alfalfa sprouts are being voluntarily recalled after dozens of people across 15 states wound up with salmonella or E. coli.
The FDA says this is linked to an alfalfa grower in Minnesota. The sprouts were potentially contaminated with the Shiga toxin that can produce E. coli and salmonella.
All distributed by Minnesota-based Everything Sprouts, sold under brand names Everything Sprouts, and Calco, sold to restaurants and grocery stores. Some came in 5-ounce containers with a lid. CDC confirms 55 illnesses.
4 people had to go to the hospital. They got so sick. Most of the cases that are tracked to these sprouts were E. coli. The illness is reported between May 31st and August 8th. Minnesota and Wisconsin really took the brunt of the cases, although there were some reported here in Florida.
All right, the United States Postal Service has some new rules for mail-in ballots.
Under the proposed change, states would have to collect and report basic voter information attached to a unique barcode on every mail-in ballot.
That information includes the voter's name and home address. State elections officials would then have to put the information into a federal ballot mail portal before it's accepted to be mailed.
Now, the Postal Service says they will not deliver ballots to states that are not in compliance. The administration says this move is in the name of voter integrity.
The rule, by the way, not going into effect until the courts lift a current injunction, which keeps mail-in ballot changes on hold in the middle of all sorts of litigation.
The injunction was put in place in June when President Trump signed an executive order to create a national list of approved voters.
Oh, is it one of our favorites?
We're going to revisit the puppy cam and see what kind of results we get.
None.
Well, they're asleep, but we have pictures of them.
Oh, look at them. They're growing.
They're so big now. I mean, they were big to begin with, but...
I thought they were all going to be huskies, but this is quite the variety of breeds, it would appear. This is the Denali puppy cam. If you haven't been following along, they were little bitty tiny things when we first started watching, but I think this is their sleeping time during the show.
I would imagine so. But nonetheless, yay.
Very nice.
Wait a second. I thought I saw movement.
I thought I saw movement. Oh, my goodness.
Waking up.
Not much movement around our house over the weekend because it just was too darn hot. I mean, I know that Sunday maybe was a little bit, no heat advisory yesterday.
Yeah, no heat advisory. It was kind of back to normal, what we typically see during our summertime. We're going to see it again today, but heading into the end of the week, our humidity is going to kick back up. We will be looking at our rain chances, however, so that's going to put a damper on things. You can already see this morning it does look a little bit cloudier than we saw yesterday. Yesterday, we had mostly sunny conditions, so that was a nice little break from that daily thunderstorm chance we were seeing last week. Does look like we're moving back into that, so prepare for some rain. Right now your temperatures are in the 70s and the 80s. We will be looking at your temperatures staying in those 80s as we head into the rest of your morning, but we will be watching for those showers and thunderstorms as we head into your evening. So let's take a look at your radar right now. You can see things are looking nice and calm. We do have that possibility of some severe weather later on today. So the risk right now is a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, with a level 2 out of 5 for our Mobile area. That's where we do have a little bit of an increase and just some of that moisture where we could see an increase in that severe risk. Now for your radar again, we do have calm weather, but look at what happens as we head later into your afternoon, evening. It's about 3 p.m. Heavy showers, thunderstorms moving through. So we'll watch for those severe storms embedded in this line. It's going to continue through some of those evening hours, but by the time you hit sunset, it should clear out fairly quickly after that. So it's not going to last too long into those overnight hours. We do have your rain chances again heading into your Tuesday, so rain chances moving through. We will have it later in the day, just like the pattern we're seeing today. Clears out again heading into those overnight hours. Same thing on your Wednesday. We'll have showers and thunderstorms heading into the middle to end part of your day, but does calm down in time for those overnight hours. Now, temperature-wise, it's going to be warm with this. We will be looking at the 70s. You can see your best chance of rain comes on Thursday, and that is where we will be looking at temperatures a little bit lower as we have a little bit more widespread rain activity on your Thursday. Good news if you are looking forward to some plans on the weekend, rain chances will start to drop heading into that weekend. Saturday and Sunday are the lowest rain chance days that we have this week. As for your temperatures right now, 70s and 80s. You do have the 90s for your highs, 92 to about 95 degrees. Does come with those heat index values high, but not quite as high as our heat advisory levels. Should stay in the upper 90s to right around 100. Some areas that don't see rain could get as high as 106, but we will have a bit of a higher rain chance today, which would help that out. As for the tropics, a couple of areas we are watching for tropical development. First one is we're going to talk about is this region off the east coast with a 50% chance of formation as it moves to the north. No concern for the Gulf Coast as it is moving north. We'll watch this one closely. It's a tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa with a 50% chance of formation. It has a ways to go as it makes that journey across the Atlantic. Next name on the list would be Dolly if either of those form. Here's a look that week ahead. You can see we do have your rain chances hanging around as you head through the week.
Well, modern technology is a little scary perhaps, but we're not quite to the T1000 yet, as will be evidenced by the robot games in China. We will take you there.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
At Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, we believe every child should have a safe place to grow. That's why we work with you and the community to build not just a house, but a home.
She worked very hard to get this house. I really appreciate that because, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now.
When you help build a home, you build a future. Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
Very pleased with Jamal Smith's knowledge on explaining every question I had when purchasing a new unit for my home. He made this transaction very easy for me to understand. Jamal was also able to install in one day. That actually makes me feel really good. It lets me know that my point got across, and we were able to do what Peyton does, which is get the system replaced the next day, make sure that there's no carryover, and to get her peace of mind for the next decade or beyond.
Peyton, the pros you can trust.
Choosing the right school is one of the most important decisions you'll make for your child. At Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy, we provide a safe, supporting environment, providing students with strong core instruction and unique programs. Students gain confidence, creativity, and skills. At JHPA, we live by our motto, enter to learn, depart to serve. Enroll your kindergartner at Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy as we celebrate 25 years serving the Pensacola community.
Are you a Florida resident looking for a medical marijuana recommendation? Call East Hill Medical Group at 850-437-0035 or on the web at easthillmedicalgroup.com.
WEAR News is closed caption for your convenience.
Dr. Susan Calvin said they are a better breed than we are.
Robots?
Yeah.
How can they be a breed? They're not even human.
No, it's Dr. Susan. She's a fictional character.
Oh, fine. I didn't even know. He's working up to this. More than 2,000 robots were competing in the Beijing Robot Games, and these little suckers are fast. Brooke, that is fast. You're a runner, right? That's fast.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. The winning robot finished the 400-meter race in 45.66 seconds, and there was also a boxing competition.
Oh, yeah. We'll get that video in a second. There you go. They did boxing. Watch this move by the red guy. Here he comes. Boom!
Did he even hit him?
I don't. Or did he fall over like
this I find this most amazing.
Which part?
Ping pong.
The ping pong. Yes, I think he scored a point on it right there. So
now here's the scary part.
Oh my.
The robot army.
Yeah. But see, we were talking about this, and Brooke gave us some insight. When the robots are running, and it looks like they can't stop, like they get a little trouble stopping, right? They smash into this big padded obstacle. But you were saying that in indoor racing is something that human runners do.
Yeah, because the indoor track, there's not enough space to slow down, and they're going so fast, so they like.
Oh, the agony of defeat.
See, they don't do that. Humans don't do that or catch fire.
Well, catch fire. Okay, that's enough of that.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Out.
CardosoCares.com.
Synovus is proud to support our community and the student athletes who live here. Each week this football season, when a local team competing on Friday night rivals drives inside their opponent's 20-yard line, they'll be in the Synovus Red Zone. Here's where teams want to be. So pull for your team when they take the field on Friday night rivals and cheer extra loud when they reach the Synovus Red Zone. Watch Friday Night Rivals on WFGX 35. Get there.
Get ready to take off with Step 1 Automotive Group's Low Passes, Low Prices sales event. Fly over for huge savings on thousands of vehicles. Taxi in, trade up. Receive up to $2,500 over KBB for your trade. Plus, teachers and students can take $1,000 off with exclusive back-to-school offers. Don't miss the Low Passes, Low Prices sales event at Step 1 Automotive Group. Land your deal.
At Diesel Lee, we know life happens.
That's why we install pure polyurea floors that are 4 times stronger than epoxy. Our American-made concrete coatings are resistant to stains, chemicals, slips, and 100% UV stable for no yellowing or fading. Backed by our manufacturer's lifetime warranty, our floors will go the distance with you and your family. Schedule a free design consultation to upgrade your home today. Financing available.
We make concrete pretty.
Just a very few seconds left in the Morning Current today to say mostly thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. Tell your friends and your family about the Morning Current. Bring them into the family.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Where does energy come from? Where does it go? At Pensacola Energy, we know that energy transfers from one form to another. Endless hot showers from our natural gas energize you. Your energy inspires others and grows into a positive energy force. Environmentally friendly, reliable, affordable natural gas from Pensacola Energy. We are your energy, Pensacola. For details on rebates, call 850-436-5050 or visit PensacolaEnergy.com.
Need the ultimate property package? Parish Tractor has you covered with the Kubota Outdoorsman Package. Get a Kubota L2502DT with loader. Choose either a Land Pride disc harrow or rotary cutter, and we'll include a free pipe top trailer. Plus, take it home with a low monthly payment and no money down for qualified buyers.
More than a tractor store.
Pensacola Specialty Pawn, the premier pawn shop in Car City, Pensacola. We buy, sell, and trade boats, RVs, trucks, motorcycles, cars, heavy equipment, gold, Rolex, and diamonds. See us when you need cash or discreet loans. No loan too big. Pensacola Specialty Pawn.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
The 50th Annual Stepping Out in Style Fashion Show, Friday, October 23rd.
The National News Desk. Locally covered, nationally connected. Developing this morning, the final blow.
They have no money. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They are not paying their soldiers. They're not paying their police.
The White House set to unleash new economic measures to further cut Iran off from the global economy, leaving even some Iranian hardliners to question their ability to stay in the fight. Evacuations ordered.
It just kept going away and then coming back.